What is up, YouTube audience? I'm driving back from a quite pleasant handstand training session outside of Houston. And what I'm going to talk about now is inspired by what happened. As I recall, there was a lot of discussion of influence, persuasion, how to persuade yourself into doing your yoga practice. Even we were doing handstands. Sometimes handstands or a more rigorous yoga or any physical training, anything in life that takes effort. What up, Anthony? Anything that takes effort. Sometimes we like to persuade ourselves into doing it. It's helpful if you can't notice yet, or if you have yet to notice. Yotis? That's somehow a combination of the word Yoda and notice. If you haven't yet noticed that I intentionally change my voice, I imbue dynamism in my voice, meaning tempo, all the variables, volume, pitch, inflection, even language, verbiage, you know, change in pace. So many. But just to keep my own attention. Because that's part of persuasion and influence. We're all looking for that. Listen, we're all looking for that secret sentence. If you haven't experienced it yet, I had an argument once with my girlfriend. It's so funny because Arash just told the story. It's in Sex Sutras 2, which by the way comes out tomorrow. Finishing final touches on the recording, not the record, well, some of the recordings, but the book. What was I saying? Oh, literally 59-minute argument, 59 minutes. I'm in El Paso walking around. I'm walking up to do yoga, which actually, incidentally, it ended up being an immaculate yoga practice because I expressed what I had to express. You know, I didn't carry those sentences into my yoga practice and deepen it into my posture. No. I talked it out, and talking it out, I think every human is capable of talking it out. We're born as organisms to talk. Talking it out is innate, kind of like a beaver dams it up. People talk it out. But there are also techniques that you can learn from your forefathers and mothers, because mothers are better innate influencers. Nature designed her to be, because she's weaker, but she's more seductive. Anyway, we didn't go this deep into at a public yoga class at a yoga shala for handstand training, but to influence yourself into doing practice, having a dynamic voice, knowing some influence triggers and using the language of Brian Casella, avoiding resistance triggers, and then I know I bring to it many things. One is enunciate, clarify your breath. Anthony Duggan is really good at his beatboxing. Beatboxing, I'm convinced, helps with that. And I noticed a friend of mine, Jonathan, he beatboxes, but he was avoiding certain consonants, like P's. He was avoiding P's, which is an aspirated bilabial sound. Bilabial, I think the lip is a labia. Try to go through all your consonants like a scientist. Write it out. So, I'm seeking a contentment. So I have 3 people's attention. I'm seeking a contentment. Listen, if you do your yoga right, it should be ecstatic. You should have an ecstatic experience. By the way, I may lose reception. I'm in the backwoods, kind of. About 10 more minutes max. If you got any questions or anything. Oh, I see blessings to everyone. Anthony. Interesting, Anthony. I thought you left me, brother. I thought you sent, maybe you were mad at another person. I thought you sent me a mad message, but maybe you were mad at somebody else. A contentment, when you arrive at a state which I could describe as in a physiological sense of, you know, autonomic nervous system, parasympathetic, vasodilated state, meaning your arteries are dilated, vessels are dilated. If you have an alkaline body but an acidic blood, fuck, dude. So much energy is transmitted. So much energy. What that means is eat in a way that your body is alkaline and breathe in a way that your blood is acidic. The electrochemical potential between your blood and your cytoplasm is prana, man. Pure electromagnetism. It's not really prana. It is a form of energy that is steered by prana. Prana is your intellect. But I like to tell people it's prana. That's what Simon Borg-Olivia says. I don't know if he's serious or not. I can't imagine he's serious. He's got to know that's not prana. I'm seeking a contentment, a place of mind that wherever I look with my attention, energy goes. And it goes wherever attention is, but most of people's attention is too dispersed. Look at these beautiful cows. I love cows when they're alive. I'm seeking a contentment, a stillness of mind. Yogas chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is the stilling, the stop, the cessation of all fluctuations of mind. What's a fluctuation of mind? Sit still. Try to stop. Try to stop thinking about shit. More and more and more. More and more. The longer you sit, the more and more. Pretty soon you start thinking about your aches and pains from sitting too long, and you'll start to complain about that, and then you'll realize, oh, I should have been doing yoga postures to train my body, or learn to use props and chairs and pillows and things in a way, and then you'll fall asleep, so you need to stay engaged. Or don't worry about it. But when you stop mind, which could be the same thing as a very, very focused mind. In the modern world, the stopping of mind doesn't make sense. Like Rashdi Bazaar says, I don't want to live life failing at something. You will fail at trying to stop mind almost all of the time. It's really hard. And I'm not really sure that I've done it. It's because there's always a deeper level. But it's gotten, and see, there's an enunciated, aspirated T. But instead of but, like they do in estuarine English, as they say. Estuarine English was around the time of the Revolutionary War for America, and those were peasant class. Peasant. They wouldn't enunciate. They did what's called glottaling. Peasant. That's not a good one, because that's an N, but would be a glottal, because a glottal stop would be with the glottis instead of the tongue. But instead of but. And the upper class wished to distinguish themselves, so they would also, for the fact that the upper class had a larger vocabulary, and when you have more vocabulary, you must enunciate or you get confused. So people confuse words. Anyway, I'm seeking a contentment to focus on my vision. All of the prana that I generate, all the prana I free up. I don't know that I would call it. I would make prana available is all I'm doing. I'm not making prana. I'm inhibiting, or I'm reducing my inhibition to channel prana. That's all. That's all. Prana's everywhere, infinitely, in all points. And that's the only way to explain it. You could say you collect prana, but really you just tap into what's there, using your body as a vessel. And when you connect the dots, which comes in glimpses as you do yoga practice, as you breathe, Anthony does his breathing practice, or Anthony or myself also does stretching, and I don't know who else is on. You come upon moments that feel really good, feel really energizing maybe. It could come as a release, or a release of mental pressure, or how has it come for you guys? And in that moment is a really clear, you cut through the clouds and you're looking at something and there's a void, and so you become actually very impressionable. This is why I was always so very careful giving adjustments, hands-on adjustments, because I know how impressionable a nervous system is. I heard that words and felt the touch of my teacher, the echoes of those sensations for months after they happened. So I was always very careful. When you reach a place of contentment, you cut through your mind and you're looking at infinity. And so having something to focus on is quite important. This is what the silent flute is. The silent flute is a program of mine where I teach you and you get lectures on vision questing with your yoga practice. How to tap into the natural transcendent capacity of a human and use the context of your experience here on this planet to give it meaning and organize it like a Rubik's Cube into something really beautiful. Your life I'm talking about. This is the silent flute. So I encourage everybody to share this video, like it, subscribe to the channel. I guess if you're on right now, you're probably subscribed. And consider joining the silent flute at ninthlimb.com. So I'm about to be home. I know I'm going to lose reception. Namaste.